Hello, this is Dr. Melida Barrow. Welcome to everyone in the United States and around the world. This is Love, Truth, and Peace, coming to you live from Miami. I hope everyone is doing well today. This show was created to equip nations and people with the knowledge and tools they need to improve, create, build, prosper, and change their environment so that they can effectively lead to a better future. Today's topic, Garifuna, Africans, Arawak, and the Caribs in the diaspora who were never enslaved. And to discuss, I would like to introduce to you Ricardo Bermudez, international member of Ofrane, director of the Lumalali Livo International Organization and chairman of the Houston Garifuna organization. And also we have a special guest from Nigeria, Bakare Mubarak, the tallest in sub-Saharan Africa, a cultural ambassador and a humanist. How are you guys today? How are both of you today? I see that Mr. Ricardo got disconnected for a second, but we would like to speak to my new friend, my new brother that we just met actually 15 minutes ago, and I'm timing it because it's amazing that the way we met, because I had a show earlier and we were talking about the situation in Nigeria, and he reached out to me and here we are, and I invited him to this show. I already had this show programmed, and I thought it was a great idea to bring you on this show. And the reason being is that Mr. Ricardo Bermudez, he's from Honduras, and he's going to talk about the Garifuna history. But not only that, there's a lot of similarities between the two of you when it comes to culture, when it comes to, I think, everything, because Ricardo is actually descended from Nigeria. So let's talk. We're going to start with Ricardo first. And Ricardo, I would like for you to briefly give me the history of the Garifunas, because there's a lot. I've done like 3 shows about the Garifunas already, 2 shows, I believe. But this show is very unique today because now we have your brother from Nigeria, actually. And it's amazing because this is a history that every Nigerian needs to know about. Go ahead, Ricardo. Briefly tell us about the history of the Garifunas.
Thank you, Dr. Barrow. I appreciate the opportunity given to me to participate in this show. So I'm going to summarize pretty much 400 years of the Garifuna history. And I'm going to try to be brief, and I don't want to bore most of our viewers. So I'm going to start like this. I'm going to say to be a Garifuna is to be a descendant of the warlike Caribbean Arawaks, natives who mix up in the with the free Africans, who after being stolen from Africa had rebelled in slave ships and shipwreck off the coast of Urume, now known today as St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Their children was called Garifuna, that's the singular word, and Garinagu is plural. The name descends from the name of the indigenous ancestors, the Kalipuna and the Kalinagu. Those two are coming from South America, and today you can still find Kalinagu in some of the Caribbean islands. So our history dates from the birth of our ethnic group in 1635. The fact, and out of the fact stand out that our ancestors fought to the death to defend the territorial sovereignty of Urume and their own freedom, their culture, and their Garifuna language. With the characteristic unity of the Garifuna people, they resisted war for more than 120 years against the French and British until the death of our paramount leader, Joseph Sartier, on March 14, 1795. Then we were captured and placed in an island close to St. Vincent named Bakare Island.
Mm-hmm.
Then we was transferred to Balisol, where we didn't hardly have vegetation and no water. After the death of more than 2,500 Garinagu political prisoners, we were embarking 11 warships on March 11, 1797. I need you guys to actually take a note of this date. March 11, 1797, towards Roatan, an island off the coast of Honduras.
Now, can I ask you something? When not everyone knows where is exactly Honduras. Where exactly is Honduras? Is it South America, Central America? Mm-hmm.
Yes, Honduras is located in Central America. Honduras is actually the heart of Central America. It's the country that is in the middle of Central America. Yeah.
Right. Now, what I want to do is, this is how I want to take this. I want to take this where after the shipwreck, right?
Yes.
Coming from Nigeria, was it exactly coming from Nigeria?
It was coming from the east coast of Africa, but most of them was from Nigeria.
Okay, it was coming from Nigeria. There was a shipwreck in St. Vincent.
In St. Vincent, yes.
Island, right?
Yes.
So now, the Nigerians landed exactly where? In St. Vincent.
They landed on Windward Island, and the Windward side of the St. Vincent Island. At the time, they were called Yurume.
Right.
It was called Yurume until the England, until the British actually took over.
Right. So now, Nigerians and the Caribs, right? This is where you get the Caribbean name from the Caribs, natives from that land. Now, when is it that the name Garifuna came about?
Okay, the African started mixing with the Arawak Indians.
Yes.
Okay, so some of these Indian names were coming from the South American land, and they came across the Caribbean. Some of the name was Calipunas, okay, and some of them was Kalinagus. So that's how the Garifuna name it derived for those two names, because the African male started mixing with the Arawak women, and that's how the Garifuna culture was born. So their children were called Garifunas or Garinagus in plural.
Now I just want to take a second now and show the people from Honduras, the Garfunas, right? These are our people from the Garfuna. All right.
Yes.
Now, what I'm getting at now here is also the people from Garifuna. What I want Nigerians to understand that in Honduras there are people, the descendants of Nigeria. You are one of them, Ricardo. You are descendants of Nigeria. Why I'm doing this show, and this came right into play because this show was scheduled. And what happened today in Nigeria, I want to bring all that in here because that's important. Now, when we talk about Africans, whether they were taken from Africa or whether they're still in Africa, they're the same people. Because when Chinese leave China, they don't say they are descendants of China. They just say that they're Chinese, right?
Yes,
right. We are the only race that always talk about descendant. Then we change it to Negro, African American, Afro-Colombian. All of us are always in our situation. We don't have the right to name ourselves according to the world. We're always being called something else. So now, I want you, Ricardo, to go back, and because now you mix with the natives of the island, and now you're calling yourself the Garafunas, which is awesome. Keep going.
Yes.
I just wanted to make that clear for our audience. Yes.
Okay. So that happens 223 years ago. We arrived in the island of Roatan on April 12, 1797.
Yes.
So I say to us to make note of those dates, and the reason why, because when we arrived in Honduras, Honduras was not a state. Honduras still was controlled by the Spanish.
Yes.
Okay, they has not gained a independence until 24 years ago. That was 24 years later. I'm sorry. Okay, so we was actually excuse me. Okay, we have lived in Honduras 24 years before Honduras actually gained the independence, and the Garifuna people actually fought alongside one of the heroes of Honduras, Francisco Morazan. Those who actually Garifuna saved his life. Okay, one of his lieutenant was named Juan Francisco Bulnes. We call him in Garifuna Walumugu, which is in English called John Bull. That's how they call him in English. So he fought alongside Francisco Morazan for the independence of Honduras. Okay, I say to make note because it's 24 years between the independence of Honduras and the arrival of the Garifuna in Honduras. But a few years ago, I'm gonna jump a little further.
Yeah, try to be brief now because we want to go go back to Bakare.
That's why I want to be brief.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go straight to the point where when the Garifunas fought, right?
Yes.
That part. I want you to get straight to that part right now.
Yes. The Garifuna fought alongside the hero in Honduras, and and eventually Honduras gained the independence in 1821.
Yes.
Okay. From there, Garifunas was already habitating the eastern coast of Honduras, all around the eastern coast, and they was given permission and they was given land title to actually live all along the eastern coast. Why? Because at the time they didn't allow the Garifunas to come to the cities, so they gave us all around the coast. So that's where we live. So that's how we actually live in St. Vincent, all around the coast, and we made our living fishing, and we actually planned the land. We kept the land virgin. We never used any type of we really like I say, we kept the land virgin, and that's how we protect our land. Okay, that's how our ancestors show us to actually do it. So after a few years, so the Honduran government realizes that those coast sides, it was good for tourism. So they started stealing the land from the Garifuna people in Honduras. So that led to the Inter-American Human Rights Court, where one of the towns in Honduras called Triunfo de la Cruz, they actually end up winning the battle of the land, and then Honduras was about to have a compliance of the sentence they was actually issued on 2015. Since then to this day has not been they have not compliance, and from there it came the kidnapping of 4 members of the board of directors in Triunfo de la Cruz about 3 months ago, and so far they have not been back to their family.
All
Yes.
right. Let's go into this. Now we have a brief history of the Garifunas. The Garifunas are descendants of Nigeria, of Africa. Now,
Yes.
I have a young man here. Again, we just met recently today. Can I say 30 minutes now, Bakare?
30
um,
minutes.
yes. Okay. Bakare is the tallest model in sub-Saharan Africa, and you're the cultural ambassador and a humanist. Now, what's happening in Nigeria today? Briefly, um, let's no before you go into that. I asked you earlier about your mission. What is your mission as Bakare? What is Bakare's mission? Tell us about that. What is your
Well,
mission?
yeah, thank you so much. It's a great opportunity for me to be here today. I must confess, this lightened up my mood a little bit because knowing that I could be able to speak to the world, because I feel very pained, I feel devastated. You
Yes.
know, for now, I was really so glad. I have never been this happy with Nigerians or Nigerian youths, as the case may be, like this, because it was a wake up call for us. We stood up, for the first time in history. We we actually stood up to police brutality in a nutshell. So
Yeah.
going question that what actually is my drive or what is my mission basically, based on the fact that I am a model. I would
Yeah.
always say being a model for me is not the ultimate, rather it's a deployment strategy to position myself globally and then to liberate my people
Yes.
home in the diaspora. So, in a nutshell, over the years, I've been able to leverage on my unique status as a model to uh, to actually promote the African culture whilst incorporating art, ecotourism, and lifestyle, basically.
Mhm.
And then ultimately, preaching my message of peace, unity, and solidarity, not only to Africans on the continent, but then Africans in the diaspora. And I am a very great enthusiast of Africans in the diaspora coming back together, you know,
Right.
uh, and uh, I want to see, one day I hope to see Africa speaking one language without a translator, like I would always say.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Now, what I want us to talk about is people are listening. You have the floor. What happened today in Nigeria? What happened? Because I'm
I
going to
must.
bring it all in. Go ahead.
It is pretty horrific. Like I said earlier, I feel so bad. I feel devastated. Uh, Before now, couple about a week ago, we started off with there was what actually transpired in recent time has been, well, it's been happening for so long. There's
Yes.
a
Yes.
unit
Years. Yeah.
in Nigeria named the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. That's like that's the acronyms. That's the full meaning of the acronym SARS, the
Mm-hmm.
Special Anti-Robbery Squad. And
Mm-hmm.
this unit is actually or was formed, to tackle robbery in a nutshell. But then, unfortunately, the reversal became the case. The
Mm-hmm.
reversal became the case. And it has been going on for far too long. There's been a lot of death recorded, you know, people, citizens, you know, poor citizens have been killed by this set of people. And then at a point in time, we stood up, about a week ago thereabouts. We started off the campaign, and then it was peaceful. I must
Mm-hmm.
tell, I was an advocate of a peaceful protest. In fact, I could remember vividly, I have multiple tweets, multiple dissemination of information on
Mm-hmm.
how to go about this protest to make it as peaceful as possible. And then it was like that. It was so organized to the extent that where I protested quite a number of times, it was so organized to the extent that we do not even litter the ground with plastic bottles after drinking water. It was that organized. I personally collaborated with couple entities, you know, to share food, to share drinks, to share. I could remember the very last thing I shared in collaboration with MFM Nigeria. God bless them. We shared hundreds of nose masks.
Yes.
You know, to ensure safety, you know, to take safety precautions, because we know for a fact that we still have cases of coronavirus springing up and whatnot. So in a nutshell, it was peaceful up until hoodlums that we started seeing footages online. We started hearing about hoodlums hijacking the protest and making it a little bit horrific and whatnot. But we know for a fact there's been so many footages that point to the fact that this has the hand of the government.
Yes.
We cannot write that off. There's so many footages, you know, that shows clearly that the government it's more like a deployment. It's more like a disruptive strategy, you know, to have then. I think this morning or yesterday, a curfew was announced, you know, to commence by 4 p.m. Yes, 4 p.m. today, and then we learned it's going to be a 24 hours curfew.
Right.
And afterwards, there were still people at the protest ground protesting peacefully, and we have seen footages because I've been home. I had a session a couple hours ago with a brother in the diaspora too, who happens to be a consultant at the Manchester Trades in Washington D.C. You know, just after that, I started seeing footages, very, very horrific footages. I felt it was more like a new age holocaust.
Right.
You know, we learned the military engaged civilians.
Yeah.
You know, it was that crazy. We learned. I saw footages of someone taking off or taking out the surveillance cameras around the toll gate. We learned that it was lights were reportedly taken off and everywhere became dark.
Oh, wow.
There's a DJ called DJ Switch. Actually, she put up a live video on Instagram that ran for hours, and then it was everybody. It drew the attention. It drew a global attention.
Yes.
You know, saw what was happening live. It was real time. We saw people.
Right.
We saw
so people could see it.
Trying to manage people that were injured. We saw people drop dead. You know, it was. I feel so emotional right now. I lost words. I can't find words.
No, I totally understand, Bakare, because I actually saw a video today. I was in tune all day today, and I saw a video, and the video was actually. I got so emotional. I honestly, to be honest with you, I didn't know if I was going to do this show. But then I thought about it and I said, I could tie this boat together because the fight is not just in Nigeria. The struggle is not just in Nigeria. The struggle is worldwide. And we have to understand the two of you are brothers. In spite that you are in Honduras and you are in Nigeria, but look at the history that your ancestors are back home going through exactly, Ricardo, what you are going through. This is so emotional because our young people are tired. Our young people want to stay home. They don't want to go to Lebanon. They don't want to come to the US. If they had the opportunities, just like in the US, they would not be in the US. Yeah. Right. So all of us that have left our countries, we don't want to leave our countries. We want good service. We want jobs. We want opportunities, you know. And when our young children go to college and they come out, they want the same benefits that the rich have, and
Right.
they don't have it. So they have to stay. Those that have the funds, they can leave and go to London. They can leave and go, you know, to Europe. And that goes for Latin America. That goes for the Caribbean, you know. But we don't want to come to these countries. We want to be at home. But when we have a corrupt system, a corrupt government in our countries, this is what happens. And then the worst thing is that you turn around and you kill your own children. So we always talk about our children are the future. I'm thinking that they don't want the future. If they kill their own people, their own young people, what do they think that they're going to expect in the future? So I decided to continue this show because the two of you are going through the same thing. I want to show our audience. I want to show our audience the pictures from the people from the Garfunas actually in Honduras, and they're also in Belize. They're in the world now. Um,
Yes.
and here we are. Some of your brothers, Bakare. These are
Right.
your brothers in Honduras. These are your sisters and your brothers. But guess what? They're going through what you're going through. Look at this. This is what they are also going through. You see, here we are. These are your brothers. These are your brothers. You see, they're all suffering because we want peace. We want opportunities. But in spite of all that's going on, notice that we still remain strong in spite of it all. And one of the things that I love about the Garfunas, and you can say it best, Ricardo, they refuse to be enslaved. Could you talk about that part, please?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
That's
ma'am.
the Nigerian blood.
Yes. Well, as you guys know, uh, the black the black Africans, we were all warriors. Okay,
Yes.
we refused to be slave, and once that ship actually wrecked in Saint Vincent, outside of Saint Vincent, we was taken to the island, and then we fought. We fought for 120 years to actually continue be free. So we fought for our freedom, and we can actually be say probably that we never gave in. They never made us slave. That's one of the reason the British actually end up uh, um, taking us out of the island and then sending us to Honduras, because what they wanted to do is terminate the Garifuna culture, because those who actually fought them, they actually those captured and put on the island to actually die. They did. We
Mm.
did not. We still not die. Half of us died, but we did not all die. And the one that was actually gave in, they took their culture. They didn't allow them to play the drums. They did not allow them to talk the language, and they took everything from them. Those was the brother left back in Saint Vincent. Now they are going back to their culture. There we have Garifuna people in Saint Vincent. We have them in Nicaragua. We have them in Honduras, uh, Guatemala, Belize. Now we are all over the world. Here in the U.S., I think there are 250,000 Garifuna, maybe more. So that's one of the reasons I am one of I'm the chairman of the Houston Garifuna Complete Census Committee. So we are helping the government to actually count the Garifuna people here in the U.S. So we have a good census of the Garifuna people. We know how many of us are. So there are Garifuna in Europe, there are Garifuna in China. We are all over the place now. So we survived. We're surviving. We continue to survive. They cannot take us. They cannot wipe us out. We continue to multiply because that's what God wants us. That's God's willing. Okay, they cannot take us out. Yes, we resist to go out.
Power to the people. The
Right.
reason why, the reason, everyone that's watching the show at this moment, could you share this show? Because what we're about to talk about is about freedom, but the freedom starts with the mind.
Yes.
The mindset.
Yes.
That's where it starts, with the mindset. We've been told for many years what we cannot do. Now is the time. That's why our children in Nigeria, they're waking up. They realize something. Why are we taking the abuse? We're willing to fight. You see?
That's right.
We're willing to protest and let the world know that what's going on in Africa, this is not just about Nigeria. What is going on in Africa has to stop. We have to stop this. It's time for our people to rise. You understand? Right. It's time for the indigenous people to rise. It's time for everyone to rise that has been oppressed for centuries. This has nothing to do with color. You know why? Because in Nigeria, they are killing each other. They are killing our young people, and they're the same color. So when we're talking about the color, let's put the color aside for now. Let's put your flag aside. Don't think because you're black and you speak French, you're from France. Or I speak Spanish because I was born in Panama makes me Latina. No, I refuse for my oppressor, for the oppressor, not my oppressor, but for those that think that they can oppress my mind. It's not working anymore. It's done. We are awake. We know what is happening. We know what you're doing in Africa. The world knows now. This is not just keeping this a secret. Because what you're doing in Honduras, what you're doing in Panama, what you're doing in the world, in the United States, beating and killing our children, we are not going to tolerate that anymore.
Yes.
It's time. And I'm going to show you this. This is what, for those of you that's watching the show, please share this show, because I do believe it is time enough now that even if you can't go out and protest, you have the social media. It is time now for us to talk about what's really happening to us. 1 minute I'm being called a nigger. The next minute I'm called a Negro. In Spanish, a chomba. You've called me all kinds of names. But in spite of that, we're still strong. We're going to fight back. And it's time for us now to connect Africa with the world. And when I talk about the diaspora, I don't only mean Africans that have left Africa for better opportunity. I mean Africans that was taken out by Europeans for slavery. That's the diaspora as well.
By force.
You understand? They were taken by force.
Right.
I am one of them. I'm a descendant, like they like to say. But I am going to tell you guys something today. I'm not any descendant of anything. I'm an African woman, period. I was born in Panama, but I'm an African woman, and I will remain so until I die. Now, I'm going to show you guys what happened today. These are the photos. This might not be today, but this is what's happening that you were mentioning, Bakare. This is what's happening in Nigeria. 7 people were killed from 5 o'clock. I don't know if that's still the total, but 7 people were killed. Okay. All of this, these are the people here. Let me look at all the children and the young people that are being killed by SARS. Look at this. SAR must end. SAR must end. Now, if I scroll up, let me show you now. Now, this is in Nigeria, right? But guess where this is? Does this look like Nigeria? You can't tell. This is in Honduras. This is in Honduras. You see what I'm saying? What I'm saying to you, my people, we have to work together. You see this on the bottom of my screen here, hashtag end SARS. I want you guys to put that everywhere in your Twitter. I want you to put in Facebook, because we have to work together. It's time to end this madness in the world. Do you have anything else to add, Bakare, about what's happening in Nigeria? Anything else that the people should know? And
just
what
as you have said,
the international community, what is it that we can do for you now?
Trust me, all we needed, just like you have said, that I have a saying that there comes a time when absolute silence means betrayal. You know, so in a nutshell, we need to understand and we need to all stand up. We cannot keeping quiet. We cannot remain silenced.
Yes.
You know, it is time, and we know the world is watching. It's no news. The world is watching, whether surveillance cameras are being taken away or the lights were being put off. The world is watching.
Yes.
You know, and right now, I learned that if the protest persists for about 30 days, we learned it is until then that the United Nations will interfere. But then in honesty, we have endured this for too long, for far too long. I am 24. I'm going to be 25 by next month. And this has remained the case ever since then.
Yes, yes.
It has been the case. It has been like that. We have been promised over and over and over again. I think this is about the fourth time that the government, as we saw headlines pasted everywhere, that this has been overhauled and whatnot. So I think this was more like the end SARS hashtag, or the agitation, you know, was more like an headliner, you know, to many other things. You know, it was. It's so pathetic when you think about it. The energy the government is putting to disrupt peaceful protests, the same energy I think, or I believe, could be channeled towards doing exactly what we want.
Yes.
One of the things requested for peacefully was that the government pay visit to the victims and compensates them.
Yes.
That has been affected yet.
Yes.
That's not been affected yet.
Yes.
We saw footage. I could send some of them. We saw footages of official cars coming to drop hoodlums to perpetrate evil.
Yes.
There was no single protester, I beg your pardon, that was shot, that had guns or weaponries or whatever right beside them. It was,
and they did the exact thing. They did that exact thing in the U.S. Yeah.
The flags were soiled. The flags were submerged in blood stains. That is a bad omen.
Yeah, because they told them that to use the flag.
Right.
If you have a flag, we're not going to shoot you.
Right.
And they shot him anyway with the flag.
With the flag.
This is why. Let me tell you something, Bakare. This is why I keep telling the world, put that flag down. What does it really represent? Who does it represent? Who created the flag? You understand? Because if all of us come together in the world and put the flag down, there's no way I can tell whether Ricardo is from Nigeria or he's from Honduras.
Well said.
But at least we know we are one.
Right.
without the flags. You understand? We might speak many languages, but remember, we all can translate now. You
Right.
see, you brought us to this side of the world, but it's time enough for the diaspora, the African diaspora, to unite with our African brothers and sisters and vice versa.
Right.
Because if we don't do that, you in Africa are going to perish and we are going to perish. So it's time now for us now to come together and stop this madness about you are different from I am, because you're not. And I'm going to keep talking about this. And to all of us understand that we are a point now where we are being targeted even by our own people. In the United States, at least I can say, oh, okay, here is a group, the KKK. They don't like me. They said they don't like me, and I know they don't like me. But in Africa, you are killing your own people? Why? Are you being paid to do that? What is it that you are doing because of money? When is it now that we are going to stop doing what we're doing because of money? We have to now put that aside and come together. Because if we don't do that, we're all going to perish. Because if we're killing ourselves and your colonializers are killing you, where are we going to stand in the world? Am I right, Ricardo?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The same thing is happening in Honduras. Talk about Honduras, Ricardo. What's happening now in Honduras? I know they kidnapped 3 or 4 people. Talk about that. Let the world know what's going on in Honduras.
Yes, in Honduras, they kidnapped our 4 leaders because they refused the compliance of the sentence that the Inter-American Court has issued. Okay, this is what the Honduran government is doing. He giving our land to businessmen, and they come in and take and they steal our lands, kill our people, and forcefully, kidnap our people and disappear them. That's what's happening in Honduras. Okay, this is the reality that we're going through in Honduras. Okay, like I say, Garifuna people's it's been in Honduras for 223 years. In the Inter-American Court, the Honduran government denied the citizenship of the Garifunas in Honduras. They say we were just visitors. Okay, we were just immigrants. They gave our land to people from Canada. They interviewed this person and tell them why they took the Garifuna people land. He said they cannot say nothing because they just immigrants. Okay, immigrants talking about us, who people, our culture, our people actually fought. Okay, in the independence in this country. Besides that, there was a war with the neighbor country. The Garifuna people used their language to actually communicate on the radios, so that way they could not understand what they're saying, and they won the war. That's what the Garifuna people do. But if you go into the Honduran government, there is no history about the Garifuna heroes in Honduras. They wiped out our history. They don't want us there. Yeah. Okay, they trying to deny us that. And besides that, now they changing us. Like they are now, they don't use Garifunas. They use the word, you can say, African descendant. Okay, you know why? Because the Garifuna people, we are black and indigenous, and then that is actually more right. The International Labor Association organization actually gave us more rights as indigenous, black indigenous, but they taken it away from us. That way we don't have any more rights either. So
but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, they, like I said, they trying to deny our citizenship in Honduras, and that way they give them reason to actually take our land. This is what happened. I'm gonna give you a little just a brief
yes, because we have 2 minutes and then we have to dismiss. Go ahead.
Okay. They came to our town, policemen came to our town, They came dressed like policemen, but acting like thugs. Okay, and took our people.
Like Nigeria.
Took our
Go
4
ahead.
leaders. Yes, and took our 4 leaders. So this is what we want. This is our saying in Spanish. Okay, vivos se lo llevaron, vivos los queremos. They took him alive, and we want them alive.
That's right. That's right. And one of the things is funny that you said that, because the thing is that these so-called police officers, the way they're dressing now is not, they're like, some of them are like thugs, you know.
Yes.
So you don't know who's police officer and who is not. And they're wearing not national uniform, they're wearing like military uniform. They dress like military people. So they're coming into the community. I think it's amazing. And then now, what you said earlier about changing your name, what we need to understand is that when the name is changed, it is because they are preparing to for our future generation. You see, the young people now that are coming up, and those that are not here yet, they're preparing for them to lose their identity as the Garifunas. That's what they're doing, because every so decade they change in our name or a so-called title of and identifying us. Now they don't identify the Chinese, they don't define the Chinese, they don't define Europeans. We are the only one that they're defining, and we are the only one that are accepting the definition of who we are. You know why? Because they're telling you, if you don't accept it, if you want a grant, if you want a loan, if you want anything from the government, you have to use Afro-Panamanian, Afro-Honduras in order to get money, in order to do whatever you have to do.
Yes.
That's our problem. You understand? We don't know how to come together, 1 million people, and put $1 a piece to make $1 million. We are sometimes lazy, that it's easier for us to go to a government in order to ask the government for a grant to do what we have to do for our people. And if when we get it, they tell you what you have to do, how you have to do it, and when you can do it. That's the problem. I'm talking about Bakare on this side of the world. This side of the world.
We need to start understanding, if we do not yet, we need to understand the power in our population. We need to understand the power in our number and come together. I tell you, in less than 5 years to come, Africa would be #1 on the index of the highest population of youths in the world. We need to stand our ground. We need to use that. We need to use that power in that population.
Yes.
Just as you said.
Yes.
Go ahead. And then we're going.
But that's they identified that. That's already identified. So that's why they're trying to take us down. Okay? They say that's what they're trying to take us down. They know we are the majority. Okay?
Right.
They can't put the shackles and chain on us anymore. Okay, but they can put it on our mind. Okay, so we have to liberate our minds. We have to take that away from our mind. Okay, together.
Mental slavery, I call it.
Yes, that's right.
Separate.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the mental slavery. If you believe whatever you're told and you don't find out the truth, you're going to do what they tell you to do at all times. We were not taught to think. We was just taught to be obedient. We were not taught to think, just to be obedient, follow rules. And that's why they were surprised today in Nigeria that all our young people came out. They were surprised because now, my young people in Africa, now you know what it is to come out as one. And what needs to happen is the whole of Africa needs to come out, not just the youth, but everyone. And people my age, you need to stop telling your children one day it's going to be okay. Well, your forefathers told you that, and it's still not okay. It is the same. So we have to stand now, and I am going to stand with my young people in the world as I've always done. And we have to continue. And Bakare, whenever you need to be on my show, all you have to do is make a phone call. And that goes to you too.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I
Yes.
appreciate
So I
it.
want
I
to
appreciate
close
it. Thank you so
today
much.
by saying, do you have any last words, Ricardo? Just very brief, anything that you might want to say to the Garifuna community?
Well, we have to raise our voice, and we have to come out in the street and continue to fight this government. We need to all come together. Okay,
Yes.
this is not an isolated situation. We need to all hold arms and all fight the government in Honduras because they're trying to wipe us out. So
Yeah.
let's raise our voice and let's come out.
Bakare, last words to the Nigerian young people.
Well, I would like to commend them because honestly, I have never been this happy about Nigerian youths liberating their minds all by themselves, having a mind of their own.
Yes.
I saw this coming, but I didn't know it was going to be this soon, I must confess. So I want to urge every other person, it is not the end. It is never the end. I bet we are going to triumph by God's grace. And I want everybody across the world to realize that we were Africans before we became any other thing else, that the world define us as. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ubuntu.
I thank you both. Power to the people. I want to thank you all for joining me, both of you for joining me. I just want to send a message out to my young people in the world. Continue to do what you're doing. Become independent. Be the entrepreneur that God created you to be. I love you all. I am going to come back on this show. We are going to say end SARS. And then we're going to say power to the people, because you have the power. You have the power within. Someone said today, I want God to come and help us. God has given you all the tools you need in order to do what you are doing. You did it today, and you can continue to do it. You have to stand. God gave you those tools. Use it. All those that's in church and you're sitting and you're praying, pray with action. Don't just sit there. Come and join your young people. Come and teach your young people in order to fight this brutality, police brutality in Nigeria and in the world. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Melida Harris Barrow. Thank you for tuning in with love, truth, and peace. Like I said, what did I say, Bakare? Power to the people.
Power to the people.
Power to the
people.
Good night, everyone. I love you all. And may God continue to bless
you for having us.
all of you.
Thank you. Right.